Hi, this is the first episode in the new series, Allie's Take. And today we're going to be talking about a new concept, a new teaching that is called cultivating neutrality. And we're talking about that in terms of insomnia, of course, but really cultivating neutrality can be an extremely helpful life skill, right? And when dealing with insomnia, it might be even more useful. And the concept of neutrality, the first point I want to make here is it's about learning to become less attached to any particular outcome, right? So becoming more neutral. We become less bothered by a rough night and less celebratory of a good night. Um, and how we do this, and when it becomes more of this neutral experience, that neither of these we start to understand that neither of these outcomes are within our control. And so when it becomes more neutral to experience either one of these outcomes, our emotional attachment to either one of these outcomes becomes really a lot less intense, right? So we're no longer devastated by a difficult night, and we don't feel the need to over celebrate a good night. As our attachment to the outcome starts to lessen, we slowly begin to understand that these experiences that we're having around sleep are neither inherently good or bad. They just are what they are. They're just experiences. They're neutral in nature. We're assigning meaning to them based on our beliefs, but in and of themselves, they are neutral. And so these experiences, they're not a reflection of our worthiness, and they need not prevent us from living the life that we want to live, right? So that's the idea. That's the concept. And the second point I want to make here is that as we practice cultivating neutrality, we become more comfortable with uncertainty, and we learn to tolerate discomfort with a little bit more willingness and a little bit more ease. As we start to practice this concept, this skill, really developing this skill of cultivating neutrality, we become more comfortable with uncertainty, and we learn to tolerate that discomfort, right? Our capacity deepens to have these experiences that are, you know, not ideal, but our capacity to experience that discomfort starts to widen, as well as that window of tolerance widens and our capacity starts to deepen. So that's the second point. And then the third point that we want to make here is that we have to start to, how we start this process of cultivating neutrality is to challenge these long held narratives that we have about sleep that are no longer serving us. So another important point I want to make here is that neutrality doesn't mean that we don't have preferences. All humans prefer to sleep well, but we can learn to become more impartial and less emotionally attached and reactive to any given night. So, this often begins with challenging these long held narratives about how much we need to sleep, how much we value sleep. We likely have inadvertently elevated the importance of sleep and given it an unreasonable amount of power over our lives. We've sort of put it on a pedestal, right? And so it is really important in order to practice this cultivation of neutrality for sleep to come off the pedestal. And how we do that is to really ask ourselves, are these long held narratives and beliefs that we have about sleep and how much we value it and how much importance we give it, is it actually true? Have we had the experience of having a night that hasn't been ideal and still having an okay day? Have we also had the experience of having a really great night of sleep and then having really not an ideal day or not a great day? So most humans will say that they've had both of these experiences. And so what that starts to do is it starts to lessen how much we value sleep, the importance of sleep, right? When we can see that we've had pretty good day on very little sleep, or we can see we've had a not so great day with having a lot of sleep. So both of these experiences can happen and are true, right? And what that helps to do is release this intense attachment that we have towards this certain amount, and we quantify the sleep that we think we have to have in order to be okay, which turns out that narrative is usually what is keeping us stuck. So the process here begins with awareness and understanding that this narrative that we have might have been what is keeping us from moving forward, right? So this can take time to develop, of course, but it all starts with this awareness. When we begin to see where those false narratives have held us back, kept us stuck, or are just no longer serving us, then we can choose to change them, right? So the first step in beginning this process is to have the awareness. And then we can look at these long held beliefs that are keeping us from experiencing life in a more accepting way, in a more neutral way that is going to be a lot more productive for us and in our movement forward and out of the struggle away from insomnia, right? So that is the idea of cultivating neutrality. I hope that made some sense. I hope there was some value here for you that you can apply to your life and apply to your journey out of insomnia, leaving the struggle. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments, and I'll try to get to those just as soon as I can. Have a wonderful day, and may you find some moments of joy.
All right. Thanks so much for tuning in today, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video. Remember, your brain is not broken. You have not lost your ability to sleep, and you have a lifetime of peaceful sleep to look forward to. And I can't wait to help you get there. Bye for now.